Okay, so now you've laid a foundation for Warrior Women. It's getting ready to go. Kind of tell us how you launched it.
Well, so worked for Trump, very briefly, very short, was hired fully, and then we all know what happened in 2020. So that was unfortunate, and I was immediately blacklisted from Washington and the White House. Anybody who was lucky enough to be a staffer for him pretty much was. So I just made it right in time to make it to all the good lists. I was like, please put me at the top. If I'm going to be on the list, I want to be on all of them, and I want to be on the top of them. So I've got to go big. But after that, I was like, you know what? I can get into Congress. I had a lot of opportunity in media. I was doing a lot of influencing stuff then. I worked for some great organizations. And then kind of, I think my look, I'm tattooed. I don't speak like your everyday conservative Republican, woman, that it got a lot of attention. And I was really lucky to have so many opportunities. But for me, it was never about that. Again, like I knew my personal mission and purpose that I had between me and God and whatever, was set out in my life and the path that I was on, that I just wanted to help and serve people. That was the ultimate. It wasn't the influencer stuff. It was that, doing what was right. And so after that, I was like sitting there and that's when I was kind of looking, I'm like, women, I would go through my DMs all the time and women would always be writing to me. And I noticed because we're talking about masculinity or the lack of that there was the attack on men, right? And because you're the enemy, you just talked about the group of men that you're surrounded by. Yeah, if I was the enemy, you're my worst nightmare because you're the one that's going to fight for your family and the kids and the people and the good. And you're scary, right? But if you're, broken down and whatever, you're not. So men were going through that, but I saw a lot of women sticking up for them. And then when everything was going on with the schools and indoctrination and grooming, women were fighting for their babies. And I was like, man, these women are looking awesome. There's some fierce women. And again, me not having a lot of women in my life, I didn't respect a lot of girls growing up because I didn't like their behavior. The women that I was seeing, I was like, these are my people. These are mama bears that are like willing to stand up for their husbands and for what's right and their babies. I spent years in government and politics and yelling what I would say is at the sheep, trying to wake these people up and saying what was, over and over to them. I didn't realize all the lions that were behind me. So I finally turned around and was like, no, I'm going to build something with them. I want to bring these women, uplift their voices, have a platform. I always said my vision was warrior women, like women standing side by side just across the world, like hand in hand. There's no leader. There's no one in front of the other. I don't want to be the face of anything. I want every woman's voice to be heard. And I just started the concept of a women's organization for that. And I made the first thing I did, it was funny, was put a post out about if women wanted to get on a Zoom call, because it was during COVID. And women would ask me questions all the time about like laws or masking their kids. And I read one DM one time from a woman who was a nurse. And she was like, I just moved to Idaho from wherever. I'm single, separated. I have two babies. One's like 4, one's 2. And I have to go to work and I don't know anyone out here, but the daycare is making me mask my toddler and they're screaming and crying and ripping it off and I'm shoving it back on their face. I feel like the worst mom. And I remember reading it being like, oh, I hate this. I hate this is what's going on. But scrolling out of it, I had hundreds of those a day. And then I stopped and I'm like, holy, am I so desensitized to this crap that's going on? I want to help, but I was up here in government hitting a wall thinking I'm helping, spinning my wheels against everyone else in government. And I'm like, no, it's we, the people need help. And we also make change. I want to help them. I want to be on the ground level with my country and the citizens who make a difference and make a difference with that. And it was like, it starts with women. I don't believe I can train men. I don't believe that I 100% relate to men. I'm not a man. There's always going to be differences. We can get along and I can, again, have that perspective of men because of my brothers, but I'm a woman. And I'm going to ultimately know a little bit more how women work and how to talk to them and what to do. So I opened it up for Zoom calls and we were like killing it. I was doing like 90 women on a Zoom call 3 to 4 times a day on Sundays and just talking about what was going on. And then I started to network and connect them because I'm like, well, Sally's in here and Susie's over there and you guys have kids. Can you find someone to help each other with, childcare and school, driving them to school, go to these school board meetings together, go to these protests together. And within a few calls, they were doing that. They were like connecting and making friends. And I was like, holy crap, it's working. This is awesome. And we grew 3 years later into what we are now.
So what are you now? How many tribes? How many women? Where are you?
We're the baddest organization for women that there is.
I love it.
It's amazing. I am humbled, I will say, every single day. And I thank God that he did give me this purpose and mission. And I see so many other things clearly now that I have this and I get to be a part of women's lives that inspire me. They've changed me. I was a pretty hardened person again, and the women have I get to be around the most exceptional, awesome women. There's no room for BS. It kind of removes itself. There's not the cattiness. But we have so I do the tactical retreats, which we do at the sawmill now. It's awesome. And we've been doing that for a few years. Train 48 women at a time, go and stay for 2 days, full 2 day tactical experience, all the training you can imagine, as much as we can. We bond, we cook together. I fly my mom out. She cooks for us. I don't cater anything in. It's a humbling, great experience. You're completely immersed, hair up, makeup off, just being women. Like no BS, no selfies, nothing like that. You're there to learn and experience. And these women are crying to each other. We've had just so many awesome things come out of it. And then I kind of knew with the retreat that in those 2 days, I could either teach you 2 days of pistol and you'd probably be a lot better, or 3 hours of pistol, 3 hours of med class, 3 hours of CQB, all these different things so that you can experience what you need to go home and excel and continue to train with. But having a lot of women being super excited about that and going home, I was seeing that they were reaching out to instructors that maybe aren't that great. And it's become really like popular to train women, which is awesome. I'm happy. Gun ownership for women is the highest it's been. It's been up 77%. So since 2005, that's insane. But I started to expand into an IF program. So we not only do our tactical retreats at the sawmill, I partner with instructors that are vetted around the country to do local range days and training jujitsu days with women so that they can still train when they go home. And it's vetted. And again, it's all planned out for them. We do a series throughout the whole year so that they have classes to go to. And then we have our local villages. So with the villages, the whole premise of that was built off of it takes a village for women. I wanted, again, they build this bond over the phone or at our retreat and then they go home, right? And everything goes back to your normal life, that they have local villages within their community, that they get together, they volunteer. We have women helping out with the fire. We did North Carolina. They go on, girls trips or lunch and stuff like that. They just get together, animal shelters, whatever they can do to grow their community or just help. If a woman is sick, I'm like, help, bring a casserole to her house so she doesn't have to cook for a couple days. Like that stuff is missing from our society of being just a good person and helping someone. There's not a lot of outreach anymore for those things. You don't borrow something from your neighbor anymore. You don't even know your neighbors. So I really want to reshape culture and society with that. But we have 40 plus cities right now that have villages in them. There's thousands and thousands of active women and growing and expanding. But I kind of drew back on that while we refocused some things, but we're crushing it.
So if there are ladies listening to this, or maybe even husbands that think this would be really cool for their ladies, how do they find out what cities the villages are in first? And then second question, what if they don't have one? How do they start one?
Perfect. So warriorwomenintl.com is the website. There's actually we actually just recently updated it. So you can go right on there, go into the villages, and you can either become a member or start a village. And it'll tell you what villages we have. And if there's one missing, you can start a village. You'll go through some videos on onboarding, and then you become a leader, and we start pouring all the women who have been in waiting into your village.
That's awesome. So let me talk a little bit to the tactical retreats, because we know the folks down at the sawmill really well, and the level of training down there is amazing. One of the individual that runs the training down at the sawmill is a retired multi-decade special operator that we all know personally. So when the ladies go down there, it's not handing them a pistol and saying, there's downrange, go shoot. They're actually getting professionally trained by SOF operators, and they have that regional now. Well, we actually have some of our ambassadors for Born Primitive Tactical that are some of the regional instructors. And I encourage all my ambassadors to do that. It's a great program. And if you think about like what guys do, guys go play golf together, this is just at a different level where the women get to do something. And I've talked on a previous podcast about even special operators going out and being put in a firearm scenario out of your comfort level, how it builds you as a person. What I would just say is that for the women listening to this that think, oh, maybe that's too much for me with the gun work and stuff like that, it's not. And my spouse is an avid shooter. I actually call her Annie Oakley. She's very good with a pistol. Ricki can shoot. It's not designed for you to come in and have to be a pro. It's designed for you to come in and know nothing and come out the back door and being safe, competent, and empowering. Anything to think about that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I always kind of joke. I'm like, look, we're not like breaching buildings in Afghanistan. So, like, shoot houses are fun, but I'm trying to teach women how to get in and out of their car safely from the grocery store with their babies. And it is very much like beginner level. Or if you are, an active shooter, it's great to be able to go out and still learn. I think I learn from everyone. Anytime I go shooting with someone and they're like, oh, but you already know, I'm like, no, don't come at me like that. I want to see everything. I want to know. I want to learn. Never stop learning, especially when it comes to self-defense. The self-defense seminar that I'm doing tomorrow is a lot of what I debrief the girls with after our retreat. So I'll sit down for 2 hours and talk to them about everything we've gone over. Again, you're going to hit about 3 hours of each kind of topic. Simunition, we'll go through situational awareness. There's so many facets of your daily life. To me, the firearm, I'm a Second Amendment advocate. A big part of Warrior Women was creating female gun owners because it's not only making women safer, right? We're also like not victims anymore. While the criminals have been put up on this pedestal in the last 4 years, we're able to fight back. But it is protecting the Second Amendment too, because these women, you may not be for or against it, but there's a difference. When you comfortably and confidently know how to carry and own a firearm and you're a mother or a woman, it is life changing to be able to. I feel naked without it. The sense of confidence that I have, but I also know the seriousness of that tool and what it's used for. So we advocate for all of that. It's safe. Gun ownership is huge. Going over your basic pistol and fundamentals is great, but it's the same thing with all of it. So yes, the retreats are all skill level, I would say, but very much so beginner based, and it's not just tactical. I do get pretty serious about it in the mornings, like line up, let's go, we're going out. There's no BS. It's not about looking pretty. That's a part of the primal aspect to me of being a woman too. It's taking it all back of like stripping everything away. It's not just the firearms of like this is going to be hard, some fitness type event. It's the immersion, can't speak, immersiveness of the experience to be able to just kind of like feel empowered and learn and support each other. But it's incredible. And yes, everybody at the sawmill is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's why we've continued to go to the sawmill, because I'm bringing women out there who most of them have never even held a firearm. And if you go and you've trained or you go shoot, I've had experiences with jerks. It makes you not want to do it again, right? So if you get yelled at or treated crappy or you have a scary incident, that's never happened. The sawmill has been so incredible. I actually was asked to go out there to do content for them 4 years ago. And my 3, 4 days out there was life changing for me. And that's why I brought all my women back. And it was the people. And the owner and I that you're talking about that goes out and trains, him and I sat and talked, and his mission, we had the same thing. I told him why I started Warrior Women. He knows about me and my husband. And for him, he was like, veterans don't have a place to go when they get home. They don't feel a sense of purpose. I wanted to fulfill that. And I was like, done. We are on the same path. We just want to help people. And I'm very particular of who I partner with and extend Warrior Women to. I've been looked at maybe like a jerk because I don't just, oh, I want to put your name on it too and help you and you can be a part of it. This is so much deeper to me that I hold so much responsibility for every single woman who comes in contact with Warrior Women, that maybe if it's not with me directly, I want accountability for that, for your experience. And if it's messed up or it's bad, I will take accountability for that and I'll fix it as much as I can. But I have to have that on me. So when I extend it to partners, I'm leaving a lot in their hands with these women. And with the sawmill, it's been exceptional.